Society has long debated whether executing minors constitutes cruel and unusual punishment. We argue about rehabilitation versus retribution, about brain development and moral culpability. But when confronted with children who commit acts of violence so extreme they defy comprehension, those philosophical debates suddenly feel inadequate. These aren't teenagers caught joyriding or experimenting with drugs. These are young people whose crimes involved calculated brutality, whose courtroom behavior displayed shocking defiance, and whose victims' families were left grappling with unspeakable loss. Today, we're examining the most disturbing juvenile cases where courtrooms became battlegrounds, where sentences sparked national debates, and where the line between justice and vengeance became impossibly blurred. The sentencing that erupted in violence.
In Milwaukee, the courtroom turned into a scene of chaos as officers struggled to contain Sean Dole Jackson, a young man who had just been handed a...
Milwaukee's courtroom transformed into absolute chaos the moment Judge Rebecca DeLay announced the life sentence. Sean Dole Jackson, barely into adulthood, had just been convicted of murdering Nathan Potter during a botched robbery attempt. Potter was 21, a film student at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee with dreams of making it in the industry. Those dreams ended one July night when Jackson and his accomplice, Derek Thomas, targeted him outside a local bar, desperate for cash. When Potter couldn't produce money, Jackson shot him dead. What happened next in that courtroom revealed the depth of Jackson's character, or lack thereof. As the judge delivered the life sentence without parole, Jackson exploded with profanity-laced rage, hurling obscenities at Judge Dallett while his family shouted hatred at the bench. It required 3 officers and pepper spray to subdue him. Potter's family clung to each other, tears streaming, while Jackson's relatives intensified the hostile atmosphere with angry outbursts. This wasn't just a sentencing, it was a raw display of the emotional devastation one selfish act of violence inflicts on everyone it touches. The killer t-shirt.
Lane. When TJ Lane entered the courtroom for his trial, his unrepentant demeanor was
When TJ Lane walked into the courtroom for his sentencing hearing, he wasn't seeking mercy. He was making a statement. Wearing a white t-shirt with the word killer scrawled across it, Lane showed exactly how much remorse he felt for gunning down 3 students at Chardon High School in Ohio. His early life had been turbulent. A father with a violent history, time in foster care, eventual placement with grandparents who provided stability but couldn't erase the damage already done. At school, Lane was quiet and withdrawn, keeping to himself and rarely sharing details about his troubled background. But on February 27, 2012, around 7:30 a.m., that quiet teenager entered the school cafeteria, armed with a gun, and opened fire on students gathered before classes started. 5 students were hit before Lane fled. 3 died. 2 suffered serious injuries. Lane's behavior during sentencing was shockingly brazen. Turning to face the victims' families, he delivered words so vile they would haunt everyone present. This hand that pulled the trigger that killed your sons now masturbates to the memory. The courtroom gasped at the raw vulgarity. Judge unfazed delivered 3 life sentences, 1 for each life taken, with no possibility of parole. Justice, in its finality, was served. I'm doing a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway to celebrate when this channel reaches 1,000 subscribers. No action is required to enter. I'll randomly pick a winner once we hit the milestone. If you want to follow the journey or see the winner announcement, feel free to subscribe. Teenage love turns deadly.
Aaron Guerrero.
No bleeding this time. We got through that.
Las Vegas witnessed a chilling case where teenage romance transformed into calculated murder. Sierra Halth and Aaron Guerrero, young lovers, became central figures in an investigation that revealed a sinister plot: the murder of Sierra's father, Daniel Halth. Daniel was dedicated to his family, his music career, and his IT work. But behind the seemingly stable exterior lay family turmoil, a bitter divorce from Elizabeth after 11 years, marked by allegations of domestic abuse and custody battles. Daniel forbade Sierra from seeing Aaron, an 18-year-old with rebellious tendencies, not realizing this decision would trigger deadly consequences. On April 8, 2021, Sierra and Aaron went shopping, purchasing tools and accelerants for a horrific act. After murdering Daniel, they used his credit cards recklessly, leaving a trail leading directly to their capture. The murder details were gruesome. Daniel had been stabbed over 70 times, his body stuffed into a sleeping bag, with attempts to dismember it using a chainsaw and circular saw before setting it ablaze. His body was discovered in his garage. Even more disturbing was a video showing Sierra and Aaron joking about the murder with chilling indifference, welcoming viewers back to their YouTube channel on day 3 after murdering somebody. This grotesque recording became key evidence. Both received life sentences with possibility of parole after 22 years, a severe consequence underscoring the devastating impact on all involved. Mother's Day nightmare. On Mother's Day,
She openly admitted to the calculated shooting of Grabowski, citing a desire to enforce justice and prevent him from further spreading falsehoods about Anna, a former friend.
May 9, 2021, the peaceful community of St. Johns County, Florida, was shattered by horrifying violence. 13-year-old Tristan Bailey, a cheerleader at Patriot Oaks Academy, went missing that morning. Her body was found later that day in a wooded area near her home, having been stabbed 114 times, a level of brutality that stunned even seasoned investigators. The killer was 14-year-old Aiden Fucci, a fellow student and neighbor. Surveillance footage showed Fucci and Bailey walking together near where her body was discovered. Further investigation uncovered devastating evidence: a blood-stained buck knife matching Bailey's wounds recovered from a nearby pond, blood-stained clothing and shoes found in Fucci's bedroom, and a history of troubling behavior, including disturbing drawings and threatening statements. The courtroom proceedings proved harrowing for Bailey's family and the community. Fucci's demeanor throughout the trial was unsettling, displaying little emotion, maintaining calm detachment that starkly contrasted with his crime's brutality. In February 2023, just before jury selection, Fucci changed his plea to guilty, avoiding lengthy trial but not escaping consequences. The court sentenced him to life imprisonment without possibility of parole, underscoring the severity of his crime and the danger he posed. Tristan Bailey's tragic death and Fucci's life sentence brought painful closure to a case highlighting the darkest aspects of human behavior. The robbery turned murder. In America's heartland, a tragic story unfolded of a teenage boy's fall from typical friend to cold-blooded killer. Austin Myers, a troubled young man, was about to cross a line that would change everything. His former middle school friend Justin Back had recently graduated from high school and was eagerly preparing to join the Navy, full of patriotic aspirations. But fate had different plans orchestrated by someone Justin once trusted. After losing his job, 18-year-old Myers reached out to 19-year-old Timothy Mosley with a desperate scheme: rob Justin Back's stepfather, convinced a fortune lay hidden in the family safe. Finding Justin at home, the plan turned deadly. After unsuccessful attempts to procure drugs and syringes, Austin and Timothy returned to Justin's house under friendship's guise, watching a movie while waiting for the right moment. When it came, Timothy attacked Justin while Austin assisted. Justin's final moments filled with confusion and terror, with Austin falsely reassuring him it would soon be over. After the murder, they ransacked the house searching for the safe. Unable to open it, they took the safe, some jewelry and credit cards, then wrapped Justin's body in a blanket and placed it in Timothy's trunk. They attempted cleaning the crime scene with ammonia before leaving. While driving, paranoid about being followed, Timothy took side roads to a remote area where they hid Justin's body behind a log. Austin poured ammonia and septic enzymes on the corpse and fired 2 shots into Justin's body. The gun jammed on the 3rd shot, but Austin cleared it, leaving a bullet police would later find. The brutal murder led to an intense investigation. Justin's stepfather returned home to find the house burglarized and his son missing. A distinctive car with a missing back window covered in plastic and red tape became crucial. Detectives traced it to Austin Myers. Initially claiming ignorance during questioning, Austin's story unraveled as evidence mounted. His accomplice Timothy, hearing Austin's version, decided to confess, implicating Austin further. Confronted with this, Austin confessed to his role, including buying materials used in the crime. The public was shocked that Timothy, who wielded the knife, avoided the death penalty through a plea bargain, while Austin, the mastermind, faced ultimate punishment. At 19, Austin was sentenced to death on October 17, 2014, making him Ohio's youngest death row inmate. Justin's murder led to calls for harsher penalties, resulting in Justin's law introduction. Austin now awaits execution at Chillicothe Correctional Institution, while Timothy serves life without parole at Ross Correctional Institution. The uncomfortable questions. These cases force us to confront uncomfortable truths about youth, violence, and justice. When does a child become irredeemable? Can teenage brains, still developing, still learning impulse control, be held to adult standards of accountability? The victims' families see monsters who destroyed their loved ones. Defense attorneys see damaged children shaped by trauma and neglect. Society sees cautionary tales about what happens when warning signs go unnoticed. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect isn't the crimes themselves. It's the complete absence of remorse many of these young killers displayed. TJ Lane's obscene courtroom statement, Sean Jackson's violent outburst, Sierra Holt and Aaron Guerrero joking about murder on video. These moments reveal something profoundly broken in individuals who should still be forming their moral compasses. Whether these sentences represent justice or vengeance remains debatable. What's certain is that multiple lives, victims, perpetrators, families, communities, were irreparably shattered by acts of violence committed by people barely old enough to drive. The courtrooms where these dramas unfolded became stages for society's struggle to balance punishment with rehabilitation, to reconcile childhood with accountability, and to answer the impossible question, what do we do with children who commit adult crimes? There are no easy answers. Only more questions, more grief, and the haunting knowledge that somewhere, another troubled young person might be approaching that same terrible crossroads where childhood innocence gives way to incomprehensible violence.